I'm here with Casey, and Casey's a sixth grader here at Algonquin Middle School. Casey, you're in Mrs. Newman's class, and you know Mrs. Newman is our middle school teacher of the year for Chippewa Valley Schools. What do you think of that?
That's great.
Now, are you surprised that she would be teacher of the year?
No.
And why not?
Because she's a great teacher, and she has lots of energy, and I really like that because it doesn't make class boring, and it makes it more exciting.
So she has energy. And what does energy look like from Mrs. Newman?
Kind of craziness, but it's funny.
There's a bit of craziness and funniness in it. So can you give us an example? Does she sing in class?
Yes, and dance.
Okay, all right. She sings and dances in class. So is she singing songs you know, or is she just like making them up?
She kind of just makes them up by what she's talking about.
Hello everyone, I'm at Algonquin Middle School today, and I'm here with our middle school teacher of the year, Nicole Neumann.
Hi there.
Hey, congratulations,
Thank
Nicole.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I read the application that was submitted for you, and it's really quite impressive. And we want to talk about some of those things,
Okay.
about what's important to you as a teacher here at Algonquin Middle School.
Sounds good,
So,
yeah.
let's just start with your career. Tell us where your career began and what you've done.
So I've actually been here for 17 years. I was hired the June following me graduating from college at Oakland University, and started the following September here, and I've been here ever since, so 17 years.
So 17 years at
Yep.
Algonquin Middle School.
At Algonquin.
So that's impressive.
In sixth grade. Only
grade.
sixth grade,
That's
yep.
what I want to hear about. In
Yeah.
those 17 years, what have you done specifically about your teaching?
So in that time frame, I have really stuck with sixth grade, except for 1 year. I did do one section of seventh, but I've taught social studies, I've taught language arts, I currently teach poetry as well. We had a remedial reading course that I taught for a little while, and I do really just geography for night.
That's what you do now?
Yes.
So in sixth grade, has it always been sixth grade?
Always sixth grade. I love my little sixth graders.
So I know you call it geography,
Uh-huh.
but kind of talk about the breadth and depth of what you teach in geography, because I'm sure it's just not about what we might think of
A map. It's not about a
right,
map,
and
right.
boundaries and borders
Yeah.
and that type
Oh,
of thing.
that's a small part of
Yeah.
it, but to me, geography is really just understanding the world and why things are the way they are. So we cover government, and we cover economics, and we cover something called global awareness, which is basically just understanding how much where you are in the world affects your everyday life. We are talking currently about population, which you would think when you heard it, it's just a number, but population, they're surprised to understand, affects so many parts of our lives. All right, everybody can take a peek. How populated are we here in America? How densely populated are we?
So how do you integrate that to really make this topic or this class meaningful to your students?
So anything that we're teaching, and I've been very lucky in the fact that so many of the current events actually correlate with what we're learning at that time. So for example, with what's going on in the Ukraine, we were learning at that time about the different types of governments, and we were learning about, because of them having this type of government, that is going to lead them to these types of actions.
Okay, so when you're teaching this, what are things you see from your students that indicate that they're connecting what you teach to their lives?
To be honest with you, a lot of times they come in and they tell me about the things that they've seen or that they've heard, or when we're having a class discussion, their hand is up and they're wanting to input, oh yeah, I saw that. So a lot of times it's as informal as them just talking to me about it that gives me the biggest indication. And not only that, but when we're talking about it in class, they're eager to learn more and they're asking questions. And it gets to the point where I have to stop and I say, we gotta move on, you know what I'm saying? So that tells me that they're invested in what we're learning and connecting it.
So I know that here at Algonquin, you not only are involved in your classroom, and that's extremely important, but you're involved in so many things outside the classroom.
Yes.
I think you do is it student council?
Student council.
Talk about student council and why that's important and kind of the activities. Let's just start, why is student council important?
I feel like student council is almost like the party planner, you know what I mean? And party planning to me is arranging opportunities to have fun and to make connections and to get the morale up. So to me, student council that's the goal, is to come up with different events in our school that's going to bond us, that's going to create memories, that's going to have the kids have fun, something to look forward to, and create a community.
When you're doing student council, are you doing it 6 through 8, grade 6 through 8?
Yep, and I have a partner that helps, we help each other, and we've been doing this together for 10 years.
Okay, I know in student council it's important that you probably try to build empathy in kids and to care and concern for not only our community but the broader community in our country. So what are some activities you've done that you think kind of resonated with our students?
So one that sticks out was a few years ago when Texas had those devastating hurricanes and there were a lot of schools that were impacted down there that lost everything. We had a competition between the grades of raising money, and whichever grade ended up raising the most money got to go in the gym at some point and put Hershey's syrup and whipped cream all over their teachers. So we lined up, and they were my colleagues were very sweet and kind to be able to put themselves out there like that. But we were just sitting in a row, and all the 6th graders just got a bottle of Hershey's, and so.
Did administration participate?
You know, it was just the 6th grade teachers that were lucky enough to do that.
Teachers,
Yeah,
so they were lucky enough.
I still don't think of Hershey's syrup the same way, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay.
That smell does not leave you. We raised $1,700, so that got given to different schools in Houston.
Very good. And
Yeah.
you also do yearbook?
I do, yeah. Deadline was yesterday, done and
so
done.
So you feel good about that, right?
Feel super good about it, and again, the same partner that I have for student council is the same one for yearbook. And
you know, sometimes I want our audience to understand the responsibility in doing these types of things. Just taking on yearbook. Just describe that a little bit, because I don't think that's a small task.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, it's extremely stressful, only because you're reliant so much on everybody else, really, to give you the content. And to get the shots and to make sure that you have equal representation, you know, amongst the grades and people. And not only that, but to put the spirit of our school in a book that they're gonna have for decades. And that's a lot. That is a lot. But I'm always so happy at the end of the year when it comes in a big box and we unveil it, and we're very proud of the book, but the what's in it. So
one thing when I noticed in the application about you for this honor was about your relationships with kids, and you kind of addressed some of that. Not only in your teaching, but in those extra duties you take on. Can you just talk about the importance of that?
Yeah. I remember when I was a student, and I would go into classrooms where the teacher was kind of, you know, off-putting or cold.
Not as warm.
Not warm, and I didn't feel like cared about me. I didn't care. So I've always kind of kept that in me. And, you know, with my students, sometimes it's just like, oh, you got a new haircut, or, oh, you know, what did you do this weekend? And we talk about what their weekends were. And that just gives me material to be able to follow up later on. And it's sometimes just a real brief, like, oh, how was Kalahari? Or how was, you know, going to that party? And I feel, and I do feel like it connects them to me, which connects them to the class, and they care more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you care about them.
Yeah.
They care about you, and because they care about you, they care about what they're learning.
Exactly.
Yeah. Would it be safe to say that you kind of know one little tidbit of information about every kid in your class?
I would hope so. I do try hard. There are, you know, there's always a year, especially with COVID, you know, that kind of made it a little bit harder. But we're coming out of it, and kids are more social and more willing to talk again. And yes, I would say that I could probably tell you about every student, at least something. Yeah. All right, so we are going to start with Australia. I put actually Australia, mate. All right, so Australia has 21 million people, but 2.9 million square miles. So what I'm going to ask is, if you want to hold a Barbie, raise your hand. Hello, Layla. Do you like my outfit? All right, so I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Riley, come on down. Did you get the mermaid? And these pants, honest to God, are from when I was little, like 5 years old. These are from 1987. All right, so here's what I need you guys to do. You are going to be coming in and putting these Barbies. The Barbies have to go on the sheet. All right, we're going to yellow ones, one of the yellow papers, okay? All right, so what would you say? Is this a very densely populated space? Yes, you think that it is? Oh, goodness. So what if I told you that everybody's gonna leave except for Riley? So all of you now go to the back, take away your Barbies. Riley, you're the only one who gets to stay. What about this? Is this very densely populated? No. So this is actually what the population density looks like of Australia, where you have almost 3 million square miles, but you only have about 25 million people, guys. So we have a large area with a small population, and so that's going to equate to us having a very little density of population.
So Dimitri, sixth grader here at Algonquin, right?
Yes.
So just talk about Mrs. Neumann as a teacher. What do you enjoy about this class?
I enjoy her personality. It's like she's a really funny teacher, and she always makes me happy. And like when a teacher's funny, it makes you happy, and like not so like down and stuff.
What about social studies is interesting? Because I'm sure Mrs. Neumann makes it interesting.
Well, we learned about landforms, and I really liked that. It was like really nice.
You like landforms?
Yeah.
What do you like about landforms?
It's like the water. We learned about the Upper Peninsula and Lower Peninsula, the like types of landforms.
Okay. So sometimes kids, and I always loved social studies as a student myself, and sometimes kids, every kid has favorite subjects, and some kids, subjects that are favorite are not social studies. So let's just think you were talking to a fifth grader, and the fifth grader was saying they're going to come and they were going to have Mrs. Neumann as a teacher for social studies. What would you tell that student?
I'd say she's a great teacher, and you're gonna have a lot of fun in that class.
Usually when we get into the classroom, we start on this, usually when we do that. But if we're on it, in the classroom, we usually get like a treat, like a Jolly Rancher, or like she says like, very good job, students. But the warm-up is usually like something about what we're learning in class, or something that we're doing in class at the time.
So Ethan, you're a sixth grader here at Algonquin.
Yes.
And we're in your social studies class. Mrs. Neumann is your teacher. What is it about Mrs. Neumann that you like as a teacher?
I like her energy. She's a very nice teacher. Always willing to help you if you're struggling. It's just a really nice place to be.
So you really mentioned some really important qualities just about her energy level.
Yeah.
So just talk about her willingness to help. How does she do that? I mean, there's a lot of kids in here.
Yeah, she's always willing to help you if you're struggling. And in a way, she won't give you the answer. She'll help you get the answer.
If you have a question in this classroom, do you ask it? I mean, do you?
Always. She's always very open to questions. She's always very open to discussion.
Nicole, in talking to you, I can tell that teaching is a very important part of your life, and you derive a lot of satisfaction in what you do. Mm-hmm. Today in our world, the number of students going into teaching is down, and we need good teachers. So what kind of message would you send to young people leaving high school and thinking about careers? What might you tell them about teaching?
That no matter what, teaching is the most amazing profession, and nowhere else are you going to get such satisfaction and feel good moments. And yes, there are lows, but the highs make up for them. And to see your kids' faces when they get it and have that light bulb go off, or to see them excited about what you're teaching, you can't beat it. And as much as it is a lot on your plate, the payback that you get is so worth it. And even with all the stress that's happened over the last few years, I would never pick another career. This is what I was meant to do. This is my dream job. So,
what's important about this subject? I mean, I probably didn't answer the question very well. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I don't really know. I just really like social studies. I always have. And
Why do you like social studies?
I just like learning about history. It's fun to me.